Welcome everybody to the call. I've got Mr. Evan Melchior here, two-time Hall of Fame producer and the executive vice president of FFL Compassion. Fantastic producer, fantastic agency manager. We're excited to have him on here. So, Evan, one of the things that I've noticed about you is there are so many producers on your team that are brand new that come right out the gate. Can you tell us a little bit about just what that process looks like for getting a new agent started?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, thanks for having me on. So I think the biggest thing, leads, dude, it's making sure that these agents understand. Well, let me backtrack. First of all, in my opinion, it's like, hey, new agent, Alex, for example, what do you want out of this, first of all? And, a lot of them, they're here for the reason that they want to be financially free. They want to be able to create just a great income that we obviously can easily obtain here. And as soon as I figure that out, man, it's like, okay, let's take some time to set up what that actually has to be like to get to that point. So the biggest things for me is leads. So I think getting these agents to see that picture, first of all, and to just share my experience, because I think it's personally super relatable. And now I know it's a little bit extreme because I like to do travel trips and I like to work when nobody else wants to, but believing in themselves, I think, is not only do they got to believe in the leads and the products and the system of helping families with life insurance, but we got to get these people to believe in themselves, because I can promise you, if I've got a new agent who is like, does this work? His mom's telling him it doesn't, and he shouldn't spend his money on leads. He's not going to make that leap, and he's not going to be as confident when he picks up the phone and dials those leads. So I know that's like, I'm going all over the place and ranting, but that's my biggest thing. It's like, figure out what do you want as a producer? Do you want to produce 15 grand a month and have a bunch of extra time to go celebrate a whole bunch of nothing on the weekend with your friends? Or do you want more than that? And if you do want more than that, let's figure out a game plan and let's execute it.
So it sounds like, you believe in your agents, you help them to, if they don't believe in themselves, you kind of have them lean on your belief in them, and not just your belief in them, but your belief in the system, that it can work for anybody. Because obviously, coming from no sales background and seeing so many people come from a similar background find success, it's not just your belief in them, it's your belief in the system of Family First Life, that if they're willing to bet on themselves, they're willing to buy leads, they're willing to go to work, they're willing to make the sacrifices on the weekends, that anybody can find success here. So I love that, man. But obviously, from like a practical perspective, you get them to believe in themselves, and now you're showing them different lead types, and then it's just, bang the phones and go see the families. So obviously, you're a top producer. So I'm sure that you're giving a lot of people feedback and different things like that when it comes to their phone scripts, their in-home, et cetera. Is your team doing any sort of live dialing, whether it be in the office or on Zoom? Are you guys doing anything like that?
Yeah, we just do a pretty standard live dial on Zoom Monday, Thursday. But the biggest thing is the top producers are on there, 7:50 down at 8. And it's a direct correlation. It's the people that are on the top of our leaderboards. They're the ones that are at an office every single Monday and Thursday, whether they got to drive an hour or they're on the Zoom. It's just not that deep.
Definitely. And it seems to be that not just the ones who are on live dials, but also the ones who are unmuting themselves and subjecting themselves to feedback from the group. Ironically, they seem to be the ones that get better. The ones who actually are willing to get feedback. I know that one thing that we talk about in our group is we say, when's the best time to get feedback? Is it get feedback right now in the moment when you mess up on the phones, or 2 weeks from now after you've been dialing all your old leads over and over again? Then you finally call me and you're like, hey, everybody on the phone, they're not letting me come over. And it's like, well, tell me what's going on. You start telling me what's going on. And now it's like, you're telling me about your experience dialing a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And it's like, I can coach you, but I'm coaching you based on theory. I'm coaching you based on what I think you need to hear, versus we're right there on live dials. You're unmuted. And I hear you you're just someone who pauses when they first answer the phone, or you're somebody who doesn't you make close-ended statements and you don't ask questions to take control. And when I talk to you on the phone, you go, but Evan, I'm saying exactly what you're saying, exactly how you're saying it. But then when they actually unmute and put themselves on live dials, you find out they're actually not saying it anything like you whatsoever. And you can give them that immediate feedback. So I think there's so much power in live dials. So, I mean, if there's anybody who, they're hesitant to get in front of somebody and get feedback, what's your advice for them?
Ego. I think it's ego. I think if you're afraid to reach out for help, I don't know if you think you're better than people and you don't need their advice, or maybe it's genuinely you're just, you're afraid to be judged, which I get, but we got to get over that fear, right? In the home, on the phones, trying to figure out how to learn from other people. But again, it's like, from my personal experience, and I know you gotta let people make a mess of it themselves, but I know from my experience, the people that call me the most throughout the run days are the people that produce at the highest level. And I think, again, I just love to tell people about, the story of how me and Tyler did this together and how we got started. And it's like, I sometimes have a hard time distinguishing like my cold market and my warm market, because I just feel like we're all just we're friends, like not too friendly where we can't, take this business seriously. But I just got to just connect with people, man. And I just think you got to get them to understand that we're all just here to help. And the people that are reaching out the most are the ones that are going to have the most success, just because they learn faster that way.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that this is a business that can be like, it can become very lonely if you do it by yourself. And it's very easy to burn out if you do this thing by yourself. So whether it's plugging into a local office, or it's, getting on the phone with your manager in between appointments, or it's jumping on live dials, doing this business alone, it's a very easy way to get burnt out and, end up leaving this business because, they say, practice makes perfect. But that's incorrect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So you could do the same thing over and over and over again. You could be cementing incorrect habits. You could be creating a habit of making it so no one's going to book an appointment with you if you keep doing it that same way, or no one's ever going to buy from you if you keep doing it that same way. So it's so important to get feedback rather than just bang your head against the wall until you find something that works. The goal is just to copy and paste somebody and figure out what works. So who is like somebody that when you first started, you're like, I just want to copy and paste everything that they do? Somebody that maybe some of these guys can go and look them up on YouTube. Who did you learn from? What are some good trainings that you really liked?
Well, I think before I answer this question, I think that, I mean, you said the person that you want to be like, right? So, but that was something that I kind of committed to. Essentially, that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I wanted out of this thing. So that's exactly who I work with Brent Abernathy very closely, and he had known Easton and had heard of Easton's story. So he just got me connected over there, and I was just able to follow in his footsteps, like just book 30 appointments a week consistently and just suck at it. But you do that for a couple of months.
Do you think it'd be fair to say that somebody who thinks they're really bad, they're probably just not running enough appointments?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Okay.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, I did say it. Okay. All right. So last thing, and we'll jump off of here. Obviously, we met in person for the first time at the Road to Integrity event. So that's something that you guys are running for. What are your goals by convention? What do you guys want to be doing as a team? And just kind of where do you see, your team and Family First Life going as a whole? And, maybe if there's somebody out there who they're not sure about Family First Life, and they're looking to just, dive in, what's your advice to them?
Oh man. So, I mean, goals, one of the things for me that I've always really tried to focus on is finding people in my group, in my agency, that I can help get them to their goals as fast as possible. So I want to find every person that wants to step up and be a leader. And I want to say, okay, I'm going to do whatever the heck I can, as long as they're doing the right things, working, leading from the front. We're going to put everything in their favor to get them to a logo as soon as possible, to get them to vice president. And why, for people who are like, why would I work with Family First Life? My VP bonus was like 3 times as much as I used to make in a month, my previous job, something crazy. It's just like, why not, dude? But I think you gotta make the decision. You know, it's a battle against yourself. Make the decision, set the goals. And I think with those set in stone, you're gonna hold yourself a little bit more accountable. And then just do it, man. Whenever there's excuses that are trying to sneak in, remember why you're doing it, and just work, and you'll forget about it, and it'll just work out.
Thank you so much, Evan. We really appreciate you coming on here. Everybody, have an amazing dial day. Thank you so much for joining us on the Family First Life America webinar. We'll be back on here 1 week from today with a new special guest like every week. So appreciate you, Evan. Everybody have an amazing
Thanks
dial
for
day.
having me,
We'll
man.
talk to you guys soon. See you guys.